dear listeners. Today we continue with the second podcast on the principle of correspondence. The Kybalion, it's the chapter 4 in the Kybalion and in my book, The 7 Laws of Reality and Being, which is the commentary of the Kybalion. So the principle of correspondence is simply as above, so below, as below, so above. So there is a correspondence between all planes of existence and reality in the micro and the macrocosm. So everything can be, by understanding one, we can understand all. So in the first podcast we already spoken about the hermetic planes of existence, which are the three planes of physical plane, mental planes, and spiritual planes, which also subdivided by 7 each planes. So we spoke already about that. In this podcast we're going to speak a little bit about the 3 worlds of, or the 3 dimensions of existence as described in Buddhism. Now, as I mentioned, this Buddhism shares many similarities with Hinduism, so we could group them, but Buddhism goes into finer details, more details about each different cosmic dimension. Okay, so in Buddhist cosmology, we have 3 branches. The spatial cosmology, which describes the arrangement of the various dimensions, up and down. Horizontal cosmology describes how the different dimensions are grouped in the universe, and the temporal cosmology, which describes how the universes come into being, remain, and then disintegrate. So we are focusing on spatial cosmology, and we find the 3 planes of existence in ascending order. And these are obviously realms of dimensions of experience, which each being can, all the beings in the universe share. So some beings are born into one dimension or another dimension according to the law of cause and effect and the law of vibration. And the correspondence here that we're talking about, the law of correspondence, is it's describing how the specific dimension of the universe manifests due to the collective cause and effect karmas of the beings in that dimension. So we have the world of sensuous desire, the world of the dimensions of desire, the dimensions of fine matter, and the formless dimensions. So 3 different groups. Each group is then subdivided. The first group, the dimension of desire, comprises 11 dimensions in ascending order and includes the human beings and the animals, but it also includes different gods-like beings and demigods, titans, and some spirits, etc. We're not going to go into details because you can find all the informations in my book. Then we have the world of fine matter, which comprises 17 different planes of dimensions, and these are exclusively gods. They are godlike beings. They are they have bodies of fine particles and a completely different experience of the reality of the universe. And then above that we have the formless dimensions, which is formed by 4 different planes of experiences or planes of existence. And these are basically formless because it's just consciousness. Although it's consciousness, this is not to be confused with the pure, empty, timeless mind. This is it's a fine, subtle form of consciousness which still believes in the existence of an identity. To conclude, just we can say that all these different dimensions, as described in the Hermetic traditions, the Buddhist tradition, Hinduist tradition, all these dimensions of reality and the self-perceptions of beings are all, in one form or another, impermanent. They are bound to the passing of time, therefore are not permanent. Although some of these dimensions of gods can last for eons, so it's in a time that is not even conceivable by the human mind. At some point, this will basically, even that experience will die out, and it will reverse into the timeless experience of mind of pure being, from which it will reform according to the principle of cause and effect and the principle of vibration, and according to the causes and conditions of each particular mind. So mind is individual, but in the realization of reality, mind is not identifiable with anything. But still individual, because infinite beings can realize themselves or not, and that it's not a group experience. It's an individual experience of awakening or not awakening. But we're going to talk about that in the next podcast, when we look at more in details the next principles as described in the Kybalion. So thank you for listening, and I will speak to you soon in the next podcast.